automatic rendezvous and automatic docking, and so we're going to be able to see that for the first time as well.
That's going to be exciting to see. Thank you for sharing that with us. Jim Bridenstine, Administrator of NASA.
This is so
Johanna,
exciting.
Kennedy Space Center, thank you both for joining us.
Trying
We're going to send
again.
it back to Marie in the studio.
And
All right,
oh
thanks
my
a lot,
gosh.
Daryl and Mr. Bridenstine and Mr.
I know
Cabana
those
for
are
joining us.
spacesuits, but they
You
look
can see
like
some
they're
clouds
used for
starting to
something
gather
right.
over Launch Complex 39A. We're keeping a close eye on weather. Again, 50% chance of launching today. We just got to see what the weather's going to do. A little bit ago, we heard the crew complete their comm checks live on the air. We saw their seats rotate. That helps get them into a little bit more comfortable position for the G-forces during launch. And more importantly, it helps them be in a better position to interact with the screens in front of them. They completed their suit leak checks. We saw during the interview just a few minutes ago the hatch begin to close, and so inside the white room there, the pad closeout team is in there still doing some work. That hatch close is, it's not as simple as just closing a car door. There's a process to seal it and check it and make sure that everything is sealed properly, right, Lauren?
Yeah, that's correct. If they haven't already started, one thing that will be coming up next is the leak check. What they'll do is they'll attach a piece of ground support equipment. They don't have it in their hands right now, so it looks like it hasn't started yet. There it is. You can see it there. The closeout member number 5, it's already attached to the side hatch mechanism. And what they'll do is they're essentially checking for the leak rate. And they'll hold pressure there for a few minutes and then track that change in pressure over time to make sure that it's within bounds, making sure that you don't have any issues with those O-rings there that are holding that pressure. And so once they complete that leak check,
I like that they're like
they
a pit
will
crew.
then do
Yeah,
what
got
is
their own numbers.
called the installation of, or the final installation of the SPEP, or side pressure equalization plug. That's basically a plug that once the capsule splashes down, what you'll do is actually remove that, and what it does is equalizes pressure across the hatch. So once that thing is plugged in, you know that everything is super tight and that you shouldn't have any leaks on orbit.
One of the other things that I think is pretty cool about Dragon, you can kind of see them on the edges there are some of the windows. I know that Dragon started out as it was Cargo Dragon. You have your cargo version, and before you moved on to the Crew Dragon version, but you even had windows on the cargo version. Can you explain kind of why that was?
Yeah, the very first Cargo Dragon that we ever launched had a window over the hatch, over the side hatch, and the reason we did that is we always envisioned Dragon to ultimately be a crewed vehicle. So even in the beginning, for the very first vehicle we ever made, which didn't even really carry much cargo, we put that window there, and it to us symbolizes what Dragon's purpose has been all along. Taking those steps, starting off with the CRS program and resupplying the space station with experiments and food and crew provisions for the astronauts on board, to now putting NASA's astronauts in our own vehicle. It's that natural progression to what we were aiming for the whole time.
And Leland, what's your take on the touchscreen technology? We saw a little bit about that, obviously. This is a very different kind of look than what we saw during the space shuttle.
It's the future. I mean, we had our LCD displays, and we had lots of buttons to press,
so cool.
and valves and switches. And I think this new technology will allow us to get through procedures much more much faster, because we had pay-per-flight data files that we're having to turn to different pages and get to things, and I think this will make it much more efficient to go through your
dreams and endeavors to do
touchscreens. And I think having the gloves being able to touch the screens and work within the gloves, everything's kind of sleek and efficient. There's not a lot of wires and things hanging off, and their knee boards, you can see their knee boards on their left knees, so that's for some extra little notes and things.
The hatch is closed now.
There's some commentary.
We are ready for the post-ingress briefing when you are ready to copy.
And we just heard confirmation on the loops that the hatch is closed, so that is a little bit ahead of schedule.
We are motivated to go today.
Go ahead.
Okay, on the weather, we still have some rain showers moving through the area, but we do have a reasonable opportunity today, so we are proceeding into the counts. We are are going to take a look at both pad and ascent track weather at T-minus 1 hour and 30 minutes, and the next decision point will be prior to prop load. Okay, we copy. And on the vehicle health front, both F9 and Dragon health remains nominal with no items of note.
So we just heard the weather is still iffy.
Good news, thank you.
Weather is still iffy.
Concludes the post-ingress brief. Report when ready for contracts with Falcon 9 operators. We are ready for the F9 operators. Copy. Expect that shortly.
So when we hear that chatter pick back up, we're going to quiet right down so that you can listen into that along with us. But we just heard them discussing the weather briefly, still keeping an eye on that. But the next decision point is going to be before prop load. So we're going to press forward for now and then reevaluate on before they start fueling the rocket. But in the meantime, it sounds like Falcon 9 and Crew Dragon are healthy. So the vehicle's in good shape. It sounds like kind of a little bit of a repeat from Wednesday that we're just keeping an eye on the weather at this point.
Yeah, honestly.
You can see on their
that
left legs,
sucks.
well, in that previous
And
image.
Dragon SpaceX contracts with F9, you can expect it in about 1 to 2 minutes.
They always choose to launch things when it's like the worst
Dragon's
weather
ready.
in the year. Let's wait for monsoon
Right on their left
season.
legs there, they have these satchels that are strapped to their legs. Inside are some crew provisions, including these tablets that you see that they have displayed there.
Nah. It'd be
You say,
funny.
Lauren, those
What
are
if you see
tablets
one of them
versus
just like
just
unzip
keyboards
it,
that you
start
can write
pulling
on?
out some little goldfish?
Or
Just,
tablets are inside.
Oh, they're inside.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
he's like, this is taking a while.
And so when would they pull those tablets out to use them?
During the mission,
Okay.
while on orbit.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's coming, if the background noise is coming through over the air, but we hear the rain really picking up outside the studio here. So I'm kind of wondering if Bob and Doug are hearing the sounds of the rain clouds opening up over the pad. Looks like it's still kind of patchy out there. But again, we were following some thunderstorms that look like they may be making their way over here. It kind of looks like it's raining from that view. It's a little bit hard to tell.
Can you
through the haze.
imagine? That would be one of the most, like, peaceful places
All right,
on Earth.
launch is now just over 2 hours away. Tahira, you are there with the social teams now that the hatch is closed and the rain's picking up and all kinds of exciting things are going on right now as we count down and get into the last 2 hours of the count. I bet things are getting pretty interesting on social media.
Hey, Lauren. I mean, yes, they are. So many different things are going on right now, and I think people online are just wondering what's going to happen with today's mission. I have TweetDeck open right now, and it is just scrolling with the conversation of people around the nation talking about today's launch attempt. We also just checked viewership, and we are now up to 1.4 million people watching this live broadcast, so really hope things look good with weather. And on that note, let's take a look at some of the things being said on Twitter right now. So it looks like we just have some more future astronauts. I really love seeing the young generation just getting mobilized, getting excited about today's mission. Looks like we've also got some Godspeed and safe travels for both astronauts today. Really do wish them the best of luck on the second attempt. Hope it happens. Some throwback photos, all from people visiting NASA's centers. And also just let's do this. I love this can-do attitude, and I just love seeing that people are still keeping the energy alive for today's launch. So there were obviously some disappointing reactions to Wednesday's scrub, but let's take a look at how people are getting excited for today's attempt.
Only God can achieve.
Let's roll.
But
Ready for takeoff.
what the fuck does that even mean? If I'm like Godspeed.
Launch America. 3, 2, 1, go!
If someone said that to me, I'd be like, would you give him a ticket? This is one of the stupidest words I've ever heard created. Aww.
To infinity and beyond. I hope you guys make it safe to the space station.
I mean, how fun is that video? I think I will definitely have to attempt the worm after this, but just really glad to see everyone in good spirits leading into today's second launch attempt, and I really hope everybody will have something to smile about. And with that, let's head back to Lauren. Lauren.
Thanks to hear
I
it.
look
So
at
it looks like
her
people are
and I
pretty
get
stoked
such a
about
fake
today's attempt.
vibe.
Please continue to join the
I know people
conversation
who
by using the
actually like
hashtag
that personality,
LaunchAmerica
but in
across
real life,
all the social
and
media
they're genuine.
channels.
Yeah,
But
I
she
love
was fake.
seeing. I really
I
love
could
seeing
see
the
it in her
little kids get excited. I know my 3-year-old is super excited. She's got an astronaut sleeping bag and she
Really?
loves to climb in it. Yeah, it's the body
Why am
of
I
the
such a
bag
better
is a
person?
spacesuit, and then the head is empty where the pillow is. So when she gets inside, it looks like she's got a spacesuit on. So she loves it.
That's the inspiration for that next generation of explorers going to take Doug and Bob's place one day. And I think we have some people out there that are so interested in our conversation about the worm and the meatball that they've created something called the worm ball.
What?
Yeah, I saw.
I think
was
it's
checking my
parents like
email during
you
that, 'cause she's
that
like, I emailed you
cause
guys
your
the worm
children
ball, and I
to
was like, what
be
is this?
disappointed with
I'm having a
life
hard time
and
seeing it,
have
but what
no
is the
real
worm
goals
ball?
because you
So
tell
it's
them that a
a
pillow
NASA
gives them
meatball,
dreams.
which is, what it should be.
Why don't you
Okay,
tell
look at
them,
Okay,
There it
all
is.
right, thank you.
you're
I need
actually
to.
interested in
So they
creating
took
something?
the
Oh, you
angular
like playing the
NASA
piano.
logo and put in the worm.
Teach your
inside
children
of
to
the
follow a
meatball.
passion,
Can you live with that, Lauren?
not your
You know
words.
what? That's a beautiful compromise. I'll take it. I'll take it.
It's a nice marriage of the two.
I love you,
I'm
man.
turning this space
Truth.
launch into
And,
me ranting.
There is another
Woo!
live look at Launch Complex 39A, and we have had the opportunity to share with you
Rabbi.
a lot about the SpaceX Crew Dragon sitting on top of Falcon 9, a lot about the crew themselves, and the significance of today as the official return, we hope, of human launch capability to American shores. But we would be remiss if we did not explain why this pad 39A is hallowed ground.
Where go? Same time. Where go?
Many of NASA's storied missions began their daring journey from the exact same spot on Earth. Launch Complex 39A at the Kennedy Space Center. This massive structure of steel and concrete has cradled rockets and guided each on their fiery ascent to space for over 50 years. There can be no launch without a launch pad, and this hallowed ground has a history greater than any other. Having evolved and been reshaped for each new era of spaceflight, it's alive with a heartbeat as strong as the first. Launchpad 39A came to life under the direction of project engineer Harry May as NASA ramped up its efforts to achieve an unprecedented calling.
Why, some say the moon. Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain?
In 1962, Earth-moving machines sculpted its massive pyramid base to a height of 40 feet. Then, concrete was poured to hold it in place. To launch the world's first moon rocket, engineers cut a flame trench nearly the length of 2 football fields down the middle of the mound. It was then lined with heat-resistant bricks to deflect 7.5 million pounds of earth-rattling thrust, first felt on Apollo 8. Less than a year later, Apollo 11 launched from Pad 39A. And hundreds of millions of people around the world watched as it landed on the moon 3 days later. Nearly a decade after this Apollo era, 39A again took center stage with a new, one-of-a-kind spacecraft, the Space Shuttle. Millions of pounds of additional steel for surface structures transformed the look, but not the purpose: human spaceflight. In all, 82 space shuttles blasted off from 39A. until the very last.
Start. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. All three engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and liftoff. The final liftoff of Atlantis. On the shoulders of the space shuttle, America will continue the dream.
Roger, roll, Atlantis.
With the fleet retired, demolition crews removed the shuttle-era hardware to clear the way for NASA's monumental decision to lease this historic launch site to the private company SpaceX. Today, its sleek and modern design supports a family of rockets that has advanced the commercial age of American spaceflight. Now, 50 years after it first sent humans to the moon, this historic spaceport stands ready for the next wave of human exploration.
And we're looking live again at Pad 39A. We're looking at the pad closeout team. You can identify them by their numbers there, and we heard confirmation of the hatch being closed just a few minutes ago. So again, things a little bit ahead of schedule. When I say ahead of schedule, I don't mean the launch time is changing. I just mean some of the specific milestones in the timeline. Those times are a little bit flexible, but that launch window remains instantaneous at 3:22 this afternoon. And Leland, you know, we just saw a piece about the history of Pad 39A.
All stations, Chief Engineer, and countdown 1 for comm check with the crew.
We're going to pause for that comm check.
Falcon 9, guidance, navigation, and control.
Dragon GNC on countdown 1, comm check.
I'm so tired.
GNC Dragon, we have you loud and clear.
GNC loud and clear. Stand by for comm check by the propulsion engineer.
Dragon, prop on countdown 1, comm check. Prop, Dragon, loud and clear. Prop, loud and clear. Stand by for comm check with the avionics engineer.
Dragon, avionics on countdown 1, comm check.
Avionics, Dragon, loud and clear.
Avionics, loud and clear. Stand by for comm check by ground segment engineer.
Dragon, ground segment on countdown 1, comm check.
Ground segment, Dragon, loud and clear.
Ground segment loud and clear. Stand by for comm check by launch control.
Dragon, launch control on countdown 1, comm check. Launch control, Dragon, loud and clear. Launch control, loud and clear. Stand by for comm check by the chief engineer. Dragon, chief engineer on countdown 1, comm check. Chief engineer.